If you thought the season finales of Game of Thrones and Twin Peaks left your Sunday nights high and dry, boy, have we got news for you. With Rick and Morty spiraling its way into yet another stressful interdimensional close, fans can't help but nitpick all of the tiny details hidden in each 22-minute adventure, because who knows when Season 4 is going to happen. It's a legitimate question. The break between Seasons 2 and 3 was literally 4,000 years long. With that being said, I'm Jacob with channel Frederator, and today we're going to revisit 7 facts about Rick and Morty Season 3 Episode 8, aka Morty's Mindblowers. And away we go! Morty's Mindblowers premiered on September 17th, 2017, and is the 8th episode of Rick and Morty Season 3. The episode is just one of many clip show-styled episodes Dan Harmon has produced, from Community's Paradigms of Human Memory to Rick and Morty's very own Total Rick-All. For those of you who don't know, a clip show is a form of storytelling built in the same structure of a sonnet, a phone book, or a haiku, borrowing from various different elements and scenes to create one cohesive narrative. Though while traditional clip shows tend to borrow from scenes from previous episodes, Harmon has shown in the past that he doesn't do that. In this episode, grandfather and grandson go through Morty's displaced memories, giving the audience insight on Rick and Morty's previous adventures and building on Rick's flaws as a character. By removing all of his own mistakes and embarrassments from Morty's memory, it's clear that Rick fears Morty's level of self-awareness and can't bear to admit that taking things for granted is indeed not a proper grammar conjunction. However, all self-deprecation aside, this episode allowed the writers to throw the show off its existential high horse. And only 6 of the show's writers contributed to the episode, so we really shouldn't take them for granted. From its jab at religion to acknowledging the media story that the creators' own quarrels inadvertently caused the show delays, as hinted by Summer just before the end credits, this chapter briefly brings the show back to the regular Rick and Morty formula. Morty's Mindblowers came from the initial concept of Morty figuring out why aliens were showering him with love all the time. There's just no correct way to say it, so we're just gonna leave it at that. When he figured out the truth, it apparently blew his mind, thus the creation of Morty's Mindblowers. So how exactly were these Mindblowers created? Well, a lot of them began as simple ideas in the writer's room. While initially each Mindblower acted as an individual premise for a Rick and Morty adventure, they evolved into incredibly short sequences to fit Episode 8's accessible storyline. Plenty of Mindblowers were written, so of course a lot of them didn't make the cut. One in particular was a memory of Morty transforming into Jessica's hands. While he imagines a more sensual night with his crush, he's slapped silly, quite literally, by her clapping continuously at a concert, and the other two are just not safe for work. Let your imaginations run wild. While the episode wasn't heavy with guest stars, 2 names stood out to those familiar with classic Warner Brothers cartoons: Maurice LaMarche and Rob Paulsen, the original voices of Pinky and the Brain. Even though LaMarche has played many side characters within the Rick and Morty universe, his reunion with Rob Paulsen can be best heard in the squirrel bit where Morty causes an inevitable dimension jump. Never mess with the squirrels, Morty. God, those are like one step above mice, and we know what mice do when Maurice LaMarche and Rob Paulsen are voicing them. Also, the alien overlord was voiced by none other than Jonas Bredas, the man who won the Have a Cameo role as an alien overlord who gets killed by Rick contest, because dreams do come true. All of this was done in support of RED, a charity that provides life-saving ARV pills to prevent HIV-positive moms from passing viruses to their unborn babies. So in essence, while one alien overlord's life was lost, many other lives were saved. Let's backtrack to that squirrel event for just a moment. According to the memory, both Rick and Morty had to relocate to an entirely different dimension. This effortlessly explains the events of the Ricklantis mix-up, the last episode when Citadel Rick and Citadel Morty had to double-check their paperwork as if they were expecting to approach a different Rick and Morty. This goes with an interview in which Harmon explained that certain plot points are not canon unless they improve the overall story in some way. This rule allows for countless possibilities that don't necessarily trap the writers in a corner. With that being said, Morty's Mindblowers leaves us to question, how many dimensions are we removed from the original Rick and Morty universe? This episode also plays into many evil Morty theories. During the compilation sequence, fans may notice that much of Morty's forgotten memories follow along the lines of constant abuse. This is a wonderful juxtaposition to evil Morty's first act in Close Rick Counters of the Rick Kind, when he forces Rick to revisit his own memories. With all that being said, these could be instances in which evil Morty was inspired to destroy Rick C-137. Maybe we'll have to revisit a cartoon conspiracy sometime in the future. It was a tough pill to swallow when Dan Harmon revealed there would be no interdimensional cable special for Season 3. However, Morty's Mindblower serves as this season's replacement to those hilarious snippets of TV shows and commercials from cable channels across the universe. In fact, it's still a refreshing anthology episode given Season 3's intense turn of events and the need to build on its increasingly complex narrative. However, we do still receive bits of an interdimensional cable episode regardless of Episode 8's premise. For instance, the show House Hunters, a parody of an HGTV show of the same name, is also a nod to the fictional show Bear Hunt on Weeds.
I told you! You can't miss the bear!
While that half hour probably wasn't enough time to catch all of the Easter eggs, you have us to thank for the 2 a.m. hunt. Actually, it's 6 a.m. right now as I'm recording this. Mr. Meeseeks makes a brief appearance in Morty's menagerie in one of the bottom cells. Also, the women of Gazorpazorp are enclosed in the upper right of Rick and Morty's cell. Amongst the series of memories Morty binges back into his subconscious, Mr. Poopybutthole appears to be proposing to a young and delighted Morty. So many raised questions right there. At the end of the episode, in which Jerry discovers his own mind-blowing device, the 2 cassettes within the box are labeled Sleepy Gary and the Apples Campaign, both referring back to previous Rick and Morty episodes. Also, are you all aboard the Gravity Falls Rick and Morty crossover conspiracy train? Well, at the beginning of the episode, one of the vials has a familiar name written on the label. Stanford. Now, we're a cartoon channel, so we're going to ignore the other vial that everyone else is talking about, for now. In addition to Stanford mingling in Morty's affairs, there's also a brief moment in which the terrorizing and terrifying Bill Cipher makes an appearance. Let's get all the references aside as well. The temple in space in which both Rick and Morty retrieve the Truth Tortoise is actually a setting pulled from the famous M.C. Escher lithograph Relativity. While running through the temple, they're chased by a rather familiar figure from the comic book universe, who is best identified as Dream of the Endless, or Morpheus, the protagonist of the Sandman from Vertigo Comics. This guy takes on appearances based on whoever's looking at him and is a personification of all dreams and stories in existence. Seems pretty fitting for an episode based on Morty's lost memories, but this character is only seen within the first 5 minutes. In the midst of Morty's memories, there's a plot that borrows equally from films like Contact and The Martian. The death of Bebo is a killer reference to the horse gutting scene in The Revenant, or was it the Tauntaun in Empire Strikes Back? Then there's that Ghostbusters nod with Rick holding a portable containment unit, the Doolittle quip. You know what? It doesn't matter. Rest in peace, Bebo. While we would love to blurt out all of the other references, you can stay tuned for our inevitable Rick and Morty reference videos coming soon, right here on channel Frederator. Rick and Morty is absolutely stacked with references. Those videos are definitely gonna happen. Also, bonus fact, for those of you who need the details on that Mr. Poopybutthole scene, writer James Siciliano clarified that Mr. Poopybutthole bought Morty his favorite bottle of wine, played the song of when they first met, Let's Get This Party Started, and proposed to Morty thereafter. True love can cross dimensions, Morty. And there you have it. Once again, I'm Jacob, and thanks for watching 7 Facts About Rick and Morty Season 3, Episode 8, Morty's Mindblowers. What was your favorite moment in the episode? Where does it rank on your interdimensional cable scale? Comment below and let us know. Don't forget to click the bell icon to become part of our notification squad, and we have new videos dropping every day, so make sure to subscribe to channel Frederator, your cartoon central on the internet.